Hello students, how are you? Student, yesterday I explained 7 part of the lesson, the portrait of a lady. And in that part I was telling you, when the writer was going to foreign country for further studies, his grandmother reached the railway station to bid him, and she also kissed his forehead. And the writer was considering the moist impression of her kiss as the last sign of physical contact between him and his grandmother. Now I am going to explain next part of the lesson. But that was not so. And writer said that was not so. After 5 years I came back home and was met by her at the station. Writer is saying that was not so. The moist impression of her kiss was not the last sign of physical contact between him and his grandmother, because after 5 years, when he returned to his native place, his grandmother met him at the railway station. She did not look a day older. That day, she was not looking even a day older. She was looking as she was before 5 years. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayer. And she was also not speaking that day. She became very happy to see the writer and embraced him in her arms. While she was embracing the writer in her arms, then writer could listen the voice of her reciting prayer. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer and with filious rebukes. Even on the first day of the writer's arrival, his grandmother passed her time in feeding sparrows. That day, she fed the sparrows little longer than before, whom she had been feeding for a long time. And during feeding the sparrows, she used to scold them affectionately. In the evening, a change came over her. In the evening, writer observed a change in her. She did not pray. That evening, she did not pray. She collected the women of neighborhood, and she called the women of neighborhood, got an old drum and started to sing. In the evening, after calling women of neighborhood, she got a drum and started singing. For several hours, she thumbed the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang the homecoming of the warriors. And after that, she sang the homecoming of the warriors by thumping the old loose skin of the damaged drum. And the homecoming, she was singing the song of homecoming of warriors, because the arrival of the writer from foreign country after 5 years was like the homecoming of warriors for her, because she looked the writer even after 5 years, for which she would not have hope that she would see the writers after 5 years. That is why the homecoming of the writer was the homecoming of warrior for her. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. And the family members, every family member tried to make her convince not to sing for too long time, because we were thinking, because the writer's family members were thinking, if she continued singing for a long time, then she would be exhausted, she would be tired. That is why the family members were trying to convince her not to sing. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. The writer is saying that was the first time in the writer's life since he had known her that she did not pray. In the first time, the writer's entire life, or writer think that it was the first time in his grandmother's entire life that day she did not pray, that evening that she did not pray. It was the first time of the writer's entire life that writer observed, writer looked, that evening his grandmother did not pray. Now students, I think you will have understood the meaning of this part very well. Now I request you to read and write the explanation which I will provide you in written, and I will explain the next part of the lesson tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day.